Americans are quietly witnessing the collapse of something that once felt unshakable. America is entering a retail extinction event. More than 20,000 stores are set to shut their doors in 2025. Chains worth $200 billion in combined revenue wiped out in a single year. Pharmacies, grocery stores, clothing chains, dollar stores, all collapsing under $38 trillion national debt, 25% food inflation, and a middle class losing $7,200 in annual purchasing power. Communities already struggling with $1.3 trillion in credit card debt will watch their last local stores vanish. This isn't just bankruptcy, it's the unraveling of everyday life. And the real question now is, what happens when the lights go out everywhere? Number 15. Kohl's. Kohl's was supposed to be the last surviving department store. The chain that outlived Sears, JCPenney, and Belk is now shutting down 27 stores, and the warning signs are far more dangerous than the number itself. Kohl's thrived for decades because it mastered the middle-class shopper, suburban families, coupon lovers, and reliable weekend traffic. But in 2025, that entire customer base is evaporating. The American middle class, once 61% of the population, has shrunk to 49%. And inflation has turned discretionary shopping into a luxury. Kohl's stores aren't closing because they're outdated. They're closing because their customers are broke. Foot traffic has dropped 18% in 2 years, while average basket size has fallen below $50, the lowest in a decade. Meanwhile, rent costs for big box properties are up 22% since 2020. Electricity bills are up 27%. Insurance premiums soared 40% due to theft and vandalism. A Kohl's store that once made $3 million a year now struggles to break even. Digital competitors crushed their pricing power. Shein, Temu, and Amazon can sell clothing for 1/3 the cost Kohl's pays wholesale. You can't compete with that. Not in a mall, not in a strip center, not anywhere. These 27 closures are not a correction. They are the quiet funeral of America's last mid-tier department store. When Kohl's collapses completely, because that is where this is heading, millions of square feet of retail space across America will go dark, and the middle-class shopping model will be officially dead. Number 14. Orvis. Orvis isn't just another retailer, it's a symbol of America's outdoor heritage. Fly fishing, camping, hunting, rugged gear, all anchored in a culture of adventure that defined generations. And yet, in 2025, Orvis is shutting down 36 stores, 1/3 of its national footprint. Why? Because the entire outdoor economy is collapsing from the inside out. Orvis's core customers, upper middle-class outdoor enthusiasts, are being squeezed harder than ever. Household discretionary spending has dropped $1,200 per month compared to pre-pandemic levels. Outdoor gear, once a passion-driven purchase, is now an unaffordable luxury. The experience economy boom is dead. National park visits fell 9% last year. RV sales collapsed 52% from their 2021 peak. The average cost of a fishing trip has risen to $680, pricing out younger hobbyists entirely. Orvis can't survive when fewer people are participating in the lifestyle that built its business. But the biggest blow is Amazon's takeover of specialty gear. High-quality outdoor equipment that used to require expert stores can now be bought online for 40% less. Orvis's handcrafted products simply can't compete with cheaper mass imports. Add to that rising theft, shipping costs up 31% and rents up 19%, and Orvis stores became financial black holes. These 36 closures are a sign of something deeper: the death of America's outdoor identity. When Orvis falls, it won't just be a retail loss. It will be another reminder that the lifestyle millions grew up with is fading into history. Number 13. Rite Aid. Rite Aid isn't downsizing, it's disintegrating. The pharmacy chain, once operating over 2,400 locations, has spiraled into bankruptcy and is now shutting down 54 more stores, with many analysts warning that hundreds more are next. The pharmacy business in America is collapsing under unspoken pressures. Prescription reimbursements are down 18%, while operating costs have surged across every category. Labor up 21%, insurance up 35%, theft up 40%, utilities up 24%. Rite Aid stores are losing money before they even open for the day. And then came the shoplifting wave. Organized retail theft rings cost Rite Aid over $500 million in 2023 alone. Numbers so high that executives admitted some stores were not operationally viable. When a pharmacy can't protect its medications, it has no future. But the real killer is Amazon Pharmacy. With free delivery, automated refills, and lower prices, Amazon has captured younger customers overnight. Why wait in line at Rite Aid when your medication arrives at the door? As Rite Aid shutters these 54 stores, entire neighborhoods will become pharmacy deserts. Millions of Americans, especially seniors, will have no easy access to medications. In states like California, Pennsylvania, and New York, people will now drive 30 to 50 miles for basic prescriptions. Rite Aid isn't the first pharmacy to fall, but it's the most alarming. Because when pharmacies start disappearing, it's not just retail collapsing, it's public health collapsing. Number 12, Kroger. Kroger is supposed to be untouchable. The nation's largest supermarket chain, with over 2,700 stores and a grocery empire that survived recessions, pandemics, and decades of retail chaos. Yet here we are, 60 Kroger locations shutting down, and the reason is far more unsettling than declining sales. Grocery stores run on razor-thin profit margins, 1% to 3%, even in good times. But 2024 and 2025 have been anything but good. Shrink, industry code for theft, spoilage, and fraud, has surged past 4%, the highest in modern history. That number alone wipes out profitability at hundreds of locations nationwide. And then there's inflation. Not the headline inflation you see on TV, but shelf inflation, the real-world cost of keeping food in stores. Refrigeration electricity costs are up 31%, transportation is up 28%, and wholesale food prices are still 24% higher than before the pandemic. Kroger is closing stores because some locations literally lose money every time a customer walks in. But the biggest threat is their own customers. With household grocery spending now averaging $973 per month, millions have switched to Walmart, Aldi, and dollar stores just to survive. Kroger's traditional shopper, the squeezed middle-income family, is disappearing. These 60 closures aren't trimming fat. They're cutting into the bone of America's food infrastructure. When supermarkets shut down, communities don't just lose a store. They lose access to fresh food, stable jobs, and predictable prices. A future where groceries become a luxury is no longer hypothetical. It's happening. Number 11, Macy's. Macy's was never just a department store. It was the symbol of American retail. Thanksgiving parades, holiday windows, iconic flagship locations. And yet the company is now accelerating closures, shutting down 66 stores, the biggest contraction in its modern history. What's happening to Macy's is the clearest sign of a broken economy. Department stores rely on one thing: spending confidence. But in 2025, Americans have the lowest consumer confidence reading since 2009, and discretionary spending has collapsed 14% year over year. Macy's sells nice to have, but America can barely afford need to have. Foot traffic in malls is down 30% since 2019. That's not a dip, that's a structural collapse. Anchor stores like Macy's were the engines that kept entire malls alive. Now, each Macy's closure triggers a domino effect. Smaller stores lose traffic, food courts die, and within months, an entire shopping center becomes a dead mall. The company's cost structure is also crushing them. Commercial lease rates are the highest they've ever been. Security costs up 38%. Theft losses up 23%. Even returns are killing profits. Free returns cost Macy's $1.2 billion last year. And here's the quiet truth. E-commerce didn't kill Macy's, fast fashion did. Shein, Temu, and Zara deliver the same clothing for 1/3 the price and in half the time. Macy's is built for 20th century consumers. Today's shoppers are algorithm-driven, price-obsessed, and loyalty-free. These 66 closures are not strategic, they're survival. And they reveal a brutal reality. The American department store era is ending before our eyes. Number 10, Carter's. Carter's closing 100 stores is one of the most shocking developments of the retail collapse because baby clothing is supposed to be recession-proof. Parents might cut vacations, gadgets, or dining out, but they don't cut what their children need. At least, that used to be true. Carter's dominated the baby apparel industry for decades, controlling nearly 30% of the entire US market. But in 2025, young families are facing economic pressures no previous generation has ever seen. The cost of raising a child is now $22,850 per year, a historic high. Rent devours half a paycheck. Groceries cost 25% more than 5 years ago. Student loan payments returned. The result? Parents aren't buying brand-name baby clothes. They're choosing Walmart, Amazon Basics, and $3 outfits from Temu. Carter's stores became unsustainable. Mall traffic evaporated. Strip centers got more expensive. Labor costs jumped 21%. Shipping delays made seasonal inventory arrive too late. A single store can lose $400,000 a year from mistimed merchandise alone. But here's the part most people don't know. America is experiencing a birth rate collapse. Births have dropped 12% since 2015, with no sign of recovery. Fewer babies mean fewer customers. No retailer can outrun demographics. Carter's isn't closing stores because parents don't care. It's closing because parents can't afford anything beyond survival, and because there simply aren't enough babies to support a nationwide retail network. These 100 closures are a preview of a deeper crisis, one where entire industries tied to young families may disappear next. Number 9. 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven. Closing 148 stores is one of the most shocking signals of America's retail collapse, because convenience stores were supposed to be the last survivors. These were the places people relied on at 2 a.m. for emergency groceries, quick snacks, gas, or cash. If 7-Eleven can't survive, it means something fundamental has broken in the consumer economy. The truth is, the convenience model has been destroyed by a far more convenient competitor: delivery apps. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart. These services now handle over 2 billion small item deliveries per year, a number that has quadrupled since 2019. Why walk into a 7-Eleven when your chips, soda, painkillers, and energy drink can appear at your door in 12 minutes? But delivery isn't the only problem. Theft has exploded. Convenience stores experienced a 31% rise in shrink in just 2 years, the highest of any retail category. Many 7-Eleven locations lose $70,000 to $120,000 annually from theft alone. Combine that with labor costs up 22%, and overnight staffing becoming dangerous due to rising crime, and the numbers simply stop working. Another surprising factor: EVs. As electric vehicles grow, gasoline sales, long the backbone of convenience store profits, are shrinking. Some regions saw gas demand fall 8% in 1 year. These 148 closures are not random. They reflect a massive shift in American behavior. The death of impulse buying, the death of late-night shopping, and the rise of instant delivery culture. When 7-Eleven shutters, neighborhoods lose more than a store. They lose their only reliable 24/7 safety net. Number 8. Forever 21. Forever 21 was once the empire of American fast fashion, filling malls with bright lights, loud music, cheap clothing, and non-stop foot traffic. Today, the chain is collapsing again, shutting down 350 stores, one of the largest fashion retail contractions in US history. The underlying reason is brutally simple. Forever 21 can't compete with the new superpower of ultra-fast fashion, Shein and Temu. These Chinese giants release 10,000 plus new items per day, ship directly from factories, undercut Forever 21's prices by 60% to 80%, and deliver to your doorstep. A $14 Forever 21 top becomes a $4 Temu top. A $30 dress becomes $9. You can't win a price war when your competitor rewrites the entire economic model. Malls have become another fatal weakness. Mall foot traffic is down 30%, But rent prices are up 17%, a deadly combination. Forever 21 stores often run 30,000 plus square feet, meaning every month is a race against six-figure rent bills. Add in theft, rising wages, global shipping delays, and unpredictable inventory cycles, and the company is being squeezed from every direction. But the deeper truth: American fashion culture has shifted. Young shoppers no longer buy in stores, no longer browse racks, no longer shop seasonally. They're on TikTok, Instagram, and algorithm-driven hauls. Fashion is digital. Trends last 48 hours, not 6 months. Forever 21 isn't just closing stores. It's being erased by a generation that shops by swiping, not walking. These 350 closures mark the collapse of mall-era fashion once and for all. Number 7. Family Dollar. Family Dollar shutting down 370 stores is one of the clearest signs that the dollar store boom is officially over, and that America's poorest communities are now being hit hardest. For decades, Family Dollar thrived in low-income neighborhoods, small towns, and rural areas abandoned by traditional retail. Now, even those markets can't support a store. Family Dollar's customer base, low-income households earning under $40,000 a year, has been crushed by inflation. Basic items that once cost $1 now cost $1.50, $2, even $3. Families living paycheck to paycheck simply can't stretch their budgets any further. Average transaction amounts fell 17%, while store traffic dropped to its lowest point in a decade. At the same time, operating costs exploded. Theft is up 35%. Insurance premiums have more than doubled. Shipping costs are still 28% higher than before the pandemic. Many Family Dollar stores lose $250,000 plus per year, especially in urban markets controlled by organized theft rings. But the most devastating factor is competition from Dollar General. Dollar General opened 1,000 plus stores per year, saturating every town in America. The two giants battled for the same customer, and Family Dollar lost. These 370 closures will hit the poorest areas the hardest. In many places, Family Dollar is the closest source of groceries, toiletries, or basic household items. When these stores disappear, entire towns become retail deserts overnight. This isn't just retail contraction, it's economic abandonment. It's what happens when the lowest-income Americans can no longer sustain the only stores that served them. Number 6. Foot Locker. Foot Locker shutting down 400-plus stores by 2026 is the death sentence for America's mall culture. For decades, Foot Locker wasn't just a sneaker store. It was the place where youth identity was shaped. The music, the wall of shoes, the hype drops, the referee uniforms, all part of a culture millions grew up with. But in 2025, sneaker shopping has moved somewhere Foot Locker can't follow: the internet. SNKRS, GOAT, StockX, and hundreds of boutique online resellers now dominate a market once controlled by physical retail. Today, 70% of all sneaker purchases happen online, and that number keeps rising. Foot Locker's biggest problem? The brands don't need them anymore. Nike pulled back wholesale distribution. Adidas, New Balance, Puma. They're all building direct-to-consumer models where profits are higher and customer data is theirs. Foot Locker lost its exclusives, its early drops, its identity. Mall foot traffic is another fatal blow, down 30% since 2019. A Foot Locker with no teens walking by is like a concert with no crowd. And even when customers do show up, theft is now so intense in some urban locations that shoes are kept locked, limiting browsing, destroying impulse purchases. But the deeper issue is cultural. Sneaker culture went from social to digital. Sneakerheads gather in Discord servers, Instagram threads, and Telegram groups, not in malls. These 400 closures mark the end of the mall era. Foot Locker isn't just shrinking, it's being replaced by an algorithm-driven sneaker market where stores no longer matter. Number 5. Walgreens. Walgreens closing 450 stores is more than a retail contraction. It's a ticking public health crisis. America's largest pharmacy chain operates over 8,600 locations, yet rising costs and shrinking reimbursements have pushed hundreds into negative profits. Pharmacies depend on prescription reimbursements from insurance companies, but those payments have fallen 18% in 4 years, while operating expenses have exploded. Labor up 22%, utilities up 25%, and insurance up 40% due to rising crime and vandalism. A single Walgreens store can now lose $200,000 to $500,000 per year purely from reimbursement shortfalls. But the biggest killer is theft. Organized retail crime has turned pharmacies into war zones. High-value medications, razor blades, and cosmetics are stolen in bulk. In 2023 alone, Walgreens reported nearly $800 million in shrink losses, numbers so extreme they forced immediate closures in major cities. Meanwhile, customers are leaving. Amazon Pharmacy, Capsule, and mail order plans offer cheaper prescriptions delivered to your door. Younger consumers simply don't need to walk into a Walgreens anymore. The pharmacy model is becoming obsolete. These 450 closures won't hit wealthy suburbs. They'll hit low-income neighborhoods, rural towns, and areas already underserved. Many counties have only one pharmacy within 20 to 40 miles. When that store closes, residents lose access to life-saving medication, vaccines, baby formula, and basic health supplies. This isn't just another retail story. When pharmacies disappear, the community collapses with them. Walgreens closing 450 stores is a warning. America's healthcare infrastructure is failing in real time. Number 4. Big Lots. Big Lots. Closing 480 stores is one of the most devastating blows to America's retail landscape, because this chain was built specifically for struggling middle and working-class families. When discount retailers are dying, it means the economy's foundation is cracking. Big Lots was once a powerhouse with over 1,300 stores, built on a simple business model. Buy close-out inventory cheap, sell it cheap, and help low-income families stretch their budgets. But in 2025, even discounted prices can't compete with the new retail reality. Consumer debt is at $17.5 trillion, and delinquencies are rising faster than during 2008. Americans now put 41% of everyday purchases on credit cards. That means fewer impulse buys, fewer furniture upgrades, fewer household items being replaced. Big Lots thrives when people buy extras, but extras are gone from the American budget. The chain also got crushed by competitor saturation. Dollar General, Walmart, and Five Below targeted the exact same consumers and outscaled Big Lots in every way. Better logistics, better prices, bigger stores. Online retailers like Temu and Amazon wiped out the home goods category entirely. But here's the biggest killer: rent. Commercial rent for mid-sized stores is up 23% nationwide. Many Big Lots locations occupy 20,000 to 35,000 square feet, meaning rent alone can hit $50,000 to $90,000 per month. Add in rising theft, payroll, and supply costs, and half the chain became unprofitable. These 480 closures aren't just another headline. They're a direct sign that America's lower-income families no longer have enough purchasing power to sustain even discount chains. When Big Lots falls, desperation follows. Number 3. Party City. Party City shutting down 700 stores is one of the most symbolic retail collapses of the decade. This is the chain Americans relied on for birthdays, graduations, weddings, Halloween, and every major celebration. When a country can no longer support a party supply store, it means something deeper is happening. People aren't celebrating the way they used to, because they can't afford to. The average cost of hosting even a small birthday party has climbed to $368, a 29% increase since 2019. Balloon prices are up 40%, party decor up 33%, and helium shortages raised costs to historic highs. The result? Families canceled events, cut budgets, and shifted to buying cheap kits online from Amazon or Temu, often for less than $12, a fraction of Party City's pricing. Foot traffic collapsed, leases became too expensive, and theft surged. Many stores reported 5-figure monthly losses from shrink alone. Add global supply chain delays and rising shipping rates, up 26%, and Party City's business model completely imploded. These 700 closures aren't just about retail. They represent something darker, an America where celebrations are shrinking because disposable income is dying. When a nation stops celebrating, it's not a retail issue, it's a cultural warning. Number 2. Advance Auto Parts. Advance Auto Parts. Shutting down 720-plus stores is a full-scale alarm for America's transportation system. This retailer served the working-class backbone of the country: truck drivers, mechanics, DIY repairers, and families trying to keep old vehicles running because they can't afford new ones. The average price of a new car is now $48,000, while even used cars average $28,700. Americans are holding on to vehicles for 13.6 years, the longest in history. That should have been great for auto parts retailers, but a hidden crisis crushed Advance Auto Parts: electric vehicles. An EV has 20 moving parts compared to 2,000 in a gas engine. That means thousands of parts never need replacing. As EV adoption passed 13% nationwide, demand for traditional repairs collapsed. Meanwhile, Amazon took over the DIY parts market. Online prices undercut Advance Auto by 25% to 50%, with free 2-day delivery. Many stores now lose $300,000 plus per year from competition alone. Theft, rising rent, and shrinking margins finish the job. These 720 closures mean one thing: millions will now struggle to fix their cars quickly during emergencies. When auto parts disappear, mobility becomes a luxury, and America becomes less resilient. Number 1. JOANN. JOANN's shutting down 790 stores is the single largest specialty retail collapse in years, and it signals the death of America's crafting culture. For decades, JOANN fueled sewing, quilting, embroidery, school projects, and DIY hobbies. Today, those traditions are disappearing. Why? Because crafting has become too expensive. Fabric prices are up 32%, sewing machine repairs cost over $140, and basic supplies that once cost $5 now run $12 to $18. A single quilt project can cost over $220 in materials, something fewer families can justify in a time when rents, groceries, and utilities eat every dollar. But the biggest blow came from overseas competitors. Shein, Temu, and Amazon flooded the market with ultra-cheap decor and ready-made craft items. Why so when you can buy the finished product for $9? Store costs made survival impossible. JOANN's average store spans 25,000 plus square feet, often costing $45,000 to $85,000 per month in rent alone. Add labor, utilities, and shrinking sales, and hundreds of stores became unprofitable overnight. JOANN's closure isn't just retail failure, it's cultural erosion. It's the disappearance of creativity from everyday American life. When 790 craft stores close, something far bigger than a business dies. A piece of America's soul disappears with it.